Hey guys, welcome to our first weekly stream of 2026. It's been a couple of weeks since I've streamed, so really pumped for this one. Got tons to share with you guys. And well, I guess firstly, hope you all had a relaxing holiday and Happy New Year's to all. Today we're streaming on Abstract for our first time, so I just want to double check everything is working properly over there. So that's why I fired up the stream a little bit early. Also, I'm just gonna post the stream from my own X. Good time to follow me before we get started at Aaron Shames. Let me just find the blue stream. I'm just going to repost it. Let's do a quote retweet on that. All right, cool. So yeah, like I mentioned, tons to share today. Got a lot that I was cooking over the holidays. We got tons of progress done in terms of builds, in terms of listing on various platforms, and we got a lot coming up very soon. So we're going to get into all that today. It's probably going to be a pretty long stream because there's quite a bit to talk about. And yeah, once again, welcome our new audience. We're streaming to YouTube, to X, and we're also streaming to Abstract. So let's take a look at that for anyone that doesn't know how to find it. Should be right in here somewhere. Yep, intro to GBlue right here. So we're actually going to be doing a giveaway. We got a couple of different competitions going on right now. We're going to be doing a giveaway of 20 GBlue, which is about $180. That's going to be going to the best question or comment that we get through Abstract portal. So if you guys have any comments about what's going on at GBlue or any questions about any of it, be sure to post those questions on Abstract through the streaming portal there, and I'll be keeping note of those different questions, and I'll be before the stream is over, I'll be picking a winner and sending out that prize. We've also got a $1,500 competition going on in the Blue Telegram, and I'll talk a bit more about that later in the stream. Leg. Let's go. Yes, sir. Let's go. All right. So because we have a new audience here, I'm going to start this stream a little bit different than I usually would. I'm going to give a little bit of an intro of myself and the protocol. Just again, because we have a new audience here that hasn't, it's not quite familiar with myself or with the Blue protocol yet. So I'll start with myself. My name's Aaron Shames. Let me just answer a question here quick. How do you get to the Abstract stream? I'll post a link in the chat there. So it's basically, if you just go to if you log into your Abstract portal, you should be able to find me just by going to streams. Look for the intro to GBlue by Crypto Aaron. But I did just post that to the YouTube, so you can find the link there as well. Good evening, sir. All right, got some comments flowing in. So unfortunately, our Abstract stream is not linked with StreamYard, so I'm going to have to just kind of handle those individually. So we've got a question: where do we find a link to the Telegram chat? So that is, I'm just going to post the answer to that in the Abstract portal here. Oh, it doesn't like me typing like that. Just give me one sec. I'll post it here too, just in case. So it's just Blue BNB XYZ is the Telegram handle of the chat. So t.me/Blue BNB XYZ. I know you Abstract guys are probably wondering, what's a BNB guy doing on Abstract? But I'll get into that in a second. Setup looks awesome, Aaron. Thanks, man. So I'm just going to be reading off the comments that I get on Abstract, just because I can't show them on the screen, unfortunately. not with my current setup, but I plan to keep streaming to Abstract, so maybe I'll find a better way to integrate comments on the stream. So yeah, so I already mentioned we got the 20G Blue competition that we're running throughout the stream. So best questions or comments that come in through Abstract, I'll be picking one that will receive the prize live on stream. So looking forward to awarding one of you guys $180 worth of G Blue. Actually, before I get into introducing everything, I do want to make, there's a quick note. I just noticed in the last 12 hours that looks like, unfortunately, Google has incorrectly flagged our G Blue website as malicious. So I just want to let everybody know that the website is not malicious at all. You know, things get flagged incorrectly all the time. I've, you know, already put in requests several places to get that rectified, like right within Google Webmaster Tools or Search Console, whatever they call it now. So I've already submitted direct requests there, and I've submitted requests on the actual notification as well. I like the sweater you wear. Yeah, I mean, I got some stuff I'm going to be talking about later that's cross-chain related, so I figured it would be it was a fitting thing to wear for the AMA here. Thanks. So yeah, so again, so if on any of our G Blue XYZ domain sites, if you use Google Chrome or any of the browsers that use Chrome under the hood, you're probably going to see a warning about a malicious site. You can 100% safely ignore that, and that will be rectified as soon as I possibly can rectify it. I can't even really show you that because I disabled security warnings on my browser. So, but yeah, if you see a big red warning, you can click like details and you can just proceed to the site. I think that might have happened because of on one of our subdomains, we have a way that you can connect your wallet with our Telegram bot. And I think like that's the only thing I can think of that maybe caused them to think that we were, because it said something about we're collecting data on our users, which we're definitely not. But anyways, that's being worked on, and that should be rectified very soon, but you can safely ignore that warning and just proceed to the sites. All right, so let's get into a quick intro about me for everyone that's new that doesn't know me. I mean, I know a lot of my community has been, you know, following me and my projects for multiple years now, but for all of the new viewers, again, I'm Aaron Shames. I've been an entrepreneur pretty much my whole life. You know, other than a, you know, short 1-year position I had at a telecom company about 4 or 5 years ago, I've pretty much been an entrepreneur since, you know, basically my whole adult life. Started, you know, went full-time in crypto in 2021. You know, I've always been a programmer. I've always liked technology. I've always, you know, liked financial instruments, and, you know, crypto just kind of brought it all together for me. Once I, you know, saw what was possible with smart contracts, I just, you know, kind of instantly fell in love and been in love ever since. So happen to be building in the space and happy to be building solutions that can make the community a lot of money. I've had, you know, just a bit about my history in the space. You know, when I went full time in the space in late 2021, that was when I had my first project that really took off. It was called Bomb Money. So this was the first Tomb Finance fork. And it was so successful that it basically started Tomb season. There was, not even exaggerating, at least 1,000 forks that showed up after Bomb Money. We reached a peak of around 45 million in TVL. So that was really fun times, and had a lot of success there, and learned a lot at the same time, because again, that was my first project ever really taking off. So there's definitely a lot of lessons learned there, and yeah, and since then I've had a couple other projects that have had some success. Most recently, I had a meme coin book of Binance that ran to about 15 million in TVL, or not TVL, 15 million market cap. Long story about what happened with that, but it unfortunately didn't have the greatest, I guess, conclusion after that. But that's a story for another day. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I've been doxxed since I've been in the space. You know, I'm a strong believer in, you know, if you always do what's best for your community, and, you know, always acting in their best interest, there's no reason not to be doxxed, and that's why I've been doxxed since I've been in the space. My main principles are really transparency, honesty, and, you know, really just looking out for my community's best interests. And, you know, I think that's how I've been able to attract you know, build the community that I've built. It's just with those strong values. So that's enough about me. Let's talk a little bit about G Blue. That's why you guys are all here. So G Blue, what is it? G Blue is governance blue. What is blue? So blue started as an Olympus DAO fork on BNB Chain. So this is a fairly straightforward Olympus DAO fork for anyone that's familiar with Olympus DAO. We've got the blue token. We've got staked blue, which earns compounds. So we switched it up. So we do compounds every 4 hours. So we have staked blue. Staked blue is basically the rebasing blue. So for example, if you take 100 blue and you stake it for S blue, you're going to get 100 S blue, but every 4 hours, that amount of S blue is going to be always increasing. That's great, but the problem with that is that S blue is not really composable. We can't really properly bridge S blue to another chain. There's a lot of things that we can't do with S blue just because of the fact that it's a rebasing token. And that's where governance blue comes in. So governance blue also earns rebases like staked blue, but it earns them in a different way. So you can actually see on the page that I'm looking at right now, we have a staking index showing here. What the staking index indicates is how much blue has grown since launch with rebases, right? So for example, if you staked 1 blue for 1 S blue right when we launched, you would now have 19.68 S blue in your wallet. Now, the way that G blue gets these rebases in a different way is that, just to use that same example I just gave, if you would have staked 1 blue for 1 governance blue, 1 G blue when we first launched, you'd still have 1 G blue in your wallet, but that 1 G blue you could unstake or unwrap, and you'd have 19.68 blue. So basically, they're the exact same thing. They just track your rewards in a different way. And just because I have so much to go over today, I'm not going to go over too many minor details about the stuff on the BNB side. We've got really strong docs. If you want to check out the docs, we got pretty much anything that you could want to know. And again, I'll just drop this website into the chat for anybody that needs it. I'm happy to answer any questions about it, but essentially, yeah, that's where G Blue came from. G Blue is governance blue. So it's basically blue that's on BNB chain that's earning rebases. The cool thing about G Blue, though, is because it tracks the rebases via like a staking index rather than actually rebasing itself, it means that we can make G Blue available on other chains. And since 1 G Blue is 1 G Blue, no matter which chain it's on, our G Blue on Abstract is also earning those rebases from BNB Chain. So you don't need to use BNB Chain. If you hold G Blue, you're getting rebases, right? And you can kind of see that on our G Blue site. When we first bridged over to Abstract, the staking index was, I believe, 17 or 16. So already that's increased to 19.6. So again, you can take full advantage of the Olympus DAO mechanics and the rebasing just by holding G Blue. There's also a lot of other stuff you can do on our main site. There's so much to go over. I'm trying to figure out which direction or which order I should go in. But something that I added really recently that's made life a lot easier is that you can now, on any of our 3 main sites, there is navigation to get between the sites. So there's 3 main websites involved in the ecosystem right now. There's the Blue Hub. And again, all 3 sites work with Abstract. Some of the other sites are either only Abstract or certain various other chains, which I'll get into that pretty soon. But from any of the sites, you'll have this menu here to kind of switch between them easily. And again, they all work with Abstract. This one, the main site that we're on right now, it has stuff that you can do just on BNB Chain, and it has stuff that you can do just on Abstract. Actually, I'll just connect the wallet real quick here. And you can see that I can switch chains right here between BNB and Abstract, and the menu options change a little bit. I'd say for most users, this is the more advanced site where you can take advantage of a lot of what's going on at G Blue without ever having to visit this site. But if you do want to learn more or get more involved with some of the extra things that are going on, you can definitely check this out. And I mean, just to show you a couple of things real quick. You can bridge tokens, you can bridge G Blue between BNB Chain and Abstract right here on the bridge that we have on the Blue BNB XYZ site. We have a bunch of stats about our Abori Engage. I'll talk a lot about this later in the AMA, but a lot of this information is available in a cleaner way on the other sites. So you don't necessarily need to use this here. We have an LP Zapper here, but again, this is also on other sites in probably an easier to use way. So not essential to use this here. One really cool feature that we have here, though, is a feature I built called the GBlue Arbitrage Feature. And this is probably too advanced of a feature for me to be talking about in an intro, but essentially, because of the fact that we now have liquidity on BNB Chain and we have liquidity on Abstract, but our liquidity on BNB Chain is with the Blue token and our liquidity on Abstract is with GBlue, there's a bit of a manual process there if you're trying to arb and basically take advantage of a price difference between chains. So I made that a one transaction process, and I've demoed this in previous AMAs, so I'm not going to demo it again right now. But essentially, if right now the prices are almost identical, actually you can see I've did an arb a day ago. The tool is so good that I use it, right? If there's ever a difference between prices, I mean, I wouldn't even think of doing it any other way because of how well this works. Basically, this tool just super quick, USDC in, USDC out. So if there's like a 5% difference in price between Abstract and BNB Chain, if you got USDC on the chain that is cheaper, you would just simply, enter, say, I don't know, 300 USDC. And as you can see right now, I would lose money doing this. But if there was if there's anything more than about a 2% difference in price, you can start to make money on the ARB. The reason for that is because there's like a 1% swap fee on Abstract and there's a swap fee on BNB, and there's some fees involved. And, because we're using USDC, we're going through multiple pools on both chains. So because of that, you do need to see like about a 2% difference in price before you can start to profit off ARBs. But, sometimes we see large transactions on one chain and not on the other. So, sometimes there is a big price discrepancy. And the fastest way to take advantage of that is to use the ARB page, which again, you can initiate ARBs from BNB or from Abstract. And this is very accurate, this estimate here. This is literally quoting you on exactly what the outputs are going to be from the various chains. So provided that somebody else doesn't do a transaction in the couple seconds it takes for this to go through, your output should be within a penny or two of what it shows here. So pretty proud of this tool, but I got a lot of new stuff to show off, and this is already something I've showed off in the past. So I'll move on. Let's see. So intro to Blue. What else do I got to talk about? So AGW, we support AGW on all the sites. We support batching of transactions. So anyone that's using AGW, all of our, a lot of my community has been around DeFi for a lot of years, largely on BNB Chain, and we're all used to having to do token approvals and then you deposit tokens. With Abstract and their AGW wallet, we're actually able to batch transactions together so that you only have to do a single transaction to get a lot of that stuff done. So that's one of the cool things that we've integrated specific to Abstract. Everything still works if you don't use AGW, but it's just a little bit more convenient if you do use AGW. And that applies to all three of the sites I'm going to be showing you guys today. And as another special bonus to Abstract users, I'm going to talk a little bit more about our TG, our Telegram bot later, but just connecting your wallet to our Telegram bot, you get, points towards a higher tier within our Telegram, and AGW wallets get a bonus, and you get a bonus based on your AGW tier if you're like silver, diamond, or whatever you might be. So that's just a free and easy way to get some extra points to tier up with our cool Telegram bot. So I guess the last thing I'll mention about just the general Blue protocol is, like why you might want to invest in it. And I think there's a lot of reasons. I think for one, we're going to mainly be talking about the Abstract side of things. So GBlue. So GBlue is automatically getting rebases. So basically, like I know a lot of people with tokens that get, rebases, they're worried about inflation. When you hold GBlue, you don't have to worry about inflation because you automatically receive that inflation, right? So this is something where, and there's actually an interesting dynamic with it just because of the fact that we have liquidity on BNB Chain with Blue, and then we have liquidity with GBlue and ETH on Abstract Chain. Every time a rebase happens, it actually makes the GBlue more valuable on Abstract, and it makes the Blue on BNB Chain slightly less valuable. And I mean, because the rebases happen every 4 hours, it's not like a huge amount every 4 hours. So it's not like some big arbitrage opportunity crops up whenever there's a rebase, but over time, it definitely makes a difference, and it definitely does push the GBlue price up over time. So just in general, GBlue is a token that, you know, has large liquidity, is a proven, you know, Olympus DAO is, you know, bulletproof. It's been around for a long time. And just overall, it's a really solid token that, you know, we plan to keep having the value of it increase. It's been doing quite well since we launched it on Abstract. You know, we just hit our all-time high just recently. ETH has had a little bit of a pullback, and that's largely responsible for that drop that you see there. But overall, you know, even when the markets were looking rough prior to the last week, we were still doing quite well. So really happy with the direction this is going. And I think, you know, I think GBlue is a really strong token to have exposure to for a lot of reasons. You know, I just gave you like the core reasons for the token itself, but there's a lot of extra utility on top of GBlue that we have that I'm going to get into in a second. I guess before I move on, I guess for anybody that wants to get into GBlue, you can buy GBlue right on Aborian. So I think I got that open here. So you can swap for GBlue right on the Aborian site. There's a couple other ways you can get it. You can get it from the Blue website under buy. If you're on the Abstract chain, you can swap ETH for it. On the GBlue site, we got a Zap page that also has a swap option. So you can swap ETH for GBlue. A lot of people are using GBlue in LPs within Aborian. So they're either, you know, they want to make an LP and stake it to earn ABX, or we've recently, since my last AMA, we've recently released a new vault, a multi-chain vault. So I'm going to talk a lot about that in a little bit, but there's ways to zap into that as well. So depending what you're looking to do, there's a lot of different ways to get in. But yeah, basically I'd say if you just want exposure to the token, just right on Aborian's website is a great way, or right on like the GBlue website. Although, like I mentioned earlier, we have that issue with the malicious or the incorrect flagging that the site's malicious. So let me catch up on comments a bit before I get any further. Let me grab the ones from YouTube and X, and then I'll grab the Abstract ones right after. I've been in DeFi since a few years and have went in and out of projects quite a lot, searching for a dev that delivers what he preaches. Until now, Chef Aaron is delivering even more than he preaches. Appreciate the kind words, man. Keeps on cooking and surprises the community on the weekly AMAs with huge alpha. I try my best. We started with Blue, then GBlue came, then airdrops from Abstract to GBlue holders. Now we have cross-chain earnings above earnings. This project is unseen, and hats off to the chef. Really appreciate hearing that, man. Like, I've really been going out of my way to just build as much value as I possibly can to make as many different ways for different types of investors to understand what we got going on, and different ways for us to, you know, get inflows to, you know, benefit investors on other chains, and really to also benefit all the existing investors. So been working really hard at it, and really appreciate those comments. All right, let me catch up with some comments on Abstract now. So sorry, I can't put these on the screen, so forgive me for that. I'll just read them out loud. Okay, so those I just read, they were on both streams. Big congrats to the team. Being approved for native streaming on Abstract really shows the credibility and direction of Blue protocol. Yeah, I'm super pumped to be streaming on Abstract. Should we consider a linear drop, the Blue token yield like 0.2% every 3 months? I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Actually, you know what? Before I get further in the comments, let me talk about that right now. So some people may have noticed that our website now says earn 1.5% daily. It used to say 1.7%. So about roughly a week ago, I actually started a process on I believe it's the distributor contract within the Blue protocol, where it allows me to gradually adjust the rebase rewards. And I know a lot of people have been asking for a long time, you know, saying that, you know, we should probably drop the rebase reward. And, you know, I'm always, I want to, you know, take a slow approach to making any changes, because, you know, that's one lesson I've learned in the past, is you don't want to make quick decisions based on limited data. You want to, you know, have as much information as you possibly can before you make decisions that impact everybody in the protocol. But enough time has passed. I did, when Blue launched, I did say for at least 3 months we wouldn't be changing the rebase rate. It's been, how long has it been now? 5 or 6 months, I think. Yeah, almost 6 months. So, yeah, a lot of people had requested a lower APR or like a lower rebase rate. So I think like my first comment on that is, we're largely focused on GBlue now, and GBlue's receiving all rebases. So having said that, the rebase rate doesn't have a massive impact for those that have all their exposure in GBlue. But at the same time, I think there's so many opportunities that we have now on Abstract with a Borean, with that amazing gauge that we have. It's paying over 300% APR on a full range V2, which means you can just set it and forget it. You're not, falling out of range. You don't have to rebalance. You're not taking crazy and permanent loss because you have a tight position that, and the price had a huge shift. It's a very, I'd say relatively, it's very safe compared to other LP farming options, but it has the APR of something that would be super high risk. So I think like the risk reward ratio there is insane. And I really can't stress that enough. Like it's actually like mental how much we're paying for how high of a quality of an LP with, huge liquidity. So I think the safety and the risk reward ratio is really great. So, factoring in everything that I just said about, it's been well beyond the first 3 months where I said that the rebase rate wouldn't change. I made the decision that we're going to gradually drop it down towards 1% per day. So that's going to be something that transitions over the course of a month. Every single epoch, so every single 4-hour period, it's dropping a tiny bit. And I think I initiated this about a week ago. I'll double check that later. But yeah, once a month, I think it's 30 days I set, it will be down to 1% per day. And again, this, if we look at the blue chart, we can see that the rebase rate, if we look at the longer term chart, the high rebase rate has been hurting the blue price. And I think there's so many different things that we can do on Abstract, and there's so many different ways that we can earn with our GBlue that, I don't think that the primary driving earner should be the rebase rate. So, I mean, obviously I'm happy with having rebases. I think that brings a lot of value to the GBlue token. But at the same time, I think that for a couple other more advanced things like bonding and, I think it's better just to have the blue token bleed a little bit less. And I think that's ultimately what the outcome of, I think the GBlue token and the whole project would do fine regardless if we change the rebase rate or not. I think the main difference is going to be that with the lower rebase rate, we're just not going to have the blue price bleed like it would have at a higher rebase rate. But, in terms of GBlue and the Abstract side, I don't think it really impacts that all that much. Happy to get some feedback and comments or questions about that change. But actually, I still got a bunch more Abstract comments to go through. Got a long AMA planned. I got 3 drinks all set up and ready to go in case we go for 2 hours. Okay, so let's see. Where was I? Okay, so the comment was about dropping the rebase rate. So I just talked about that. Next comment was, actually, I guess I could just read these on the actual stream. All right, so what will benefit GBlue more? Putting your earn ABX in GBlue ETH or making your vote for GBlue big? That's a great question. So personally, I mean, my positions are kind of split between the vault and, straight LP farming to earn ABX. I'll probably transition, as much as I love the vault and it's like crazy what you can do with compound interest. I am incredibly bullish on ABX, and I'd rather just be claiming that ABX and locking it personally. You can't really go too wrong either way. I mean, I feel that, whether you're selling ABX to build your GBlue ETH position or you're in the auto compounding vault, I think that could likely be more upside to, basically claiming that ABX and, locking it and there's a lot of advantages to locking. I got a whole segment planned later in the AMA about Aborian stuff. So maybe I'll answer that question in more detail a bit later. Used the ARB quite a few times. Works really well. Awesome, man. Yeah, I've used it a bunch of times, and I couldn't imagine ARBing any other way now. Next question is, if we can have incentives for the bot tier, that unlocks features like blue arbitrage opportunity notifications for gold tier members. Yeah, so I'm always looking for different ways that we can improve the bot. I'm going to talk more about the bot later on, so sorry if this is confusing you guys. I guess just like a super quick summary is we have a GBlue bot in our Telegram where you can securely connect your wallet to it. And when you do that, the bot can give you stats on your position within the Blue protocol. That includes, like your holdings, includes like a bonus for having an AGW wallet connected. If you use multiple different chains, you get a multi-chain bonus. The bigger your positions are, you get more points. The more you vote on the GBlue gauge, you get points. So, I've tried to cover as much as I could there. And yeah, I'm always looking for different ways to benefit users that have achieved higher tiers, right? So we have like a basic tier called verified that everybody gets as soon as you connect a wallet. Then we have a member tier that, you can get for just a couple more points. Then we have a VIP tier, a whale tier, and a god tier. And I've already built in a bunch of extra cool features for the higher tiers, but I'm always open to, suggestions or feedback on how we can improve that or, offer more value to our higher tier users. Just a couple quick examples. Anybody that's VIP tier or higher, which is not that hard to achieve, you can DM the bot, so you can interact with the bot fully via DM. You can't do that if you're a lower tier than VIP. What else do we got? For VIP, you can also set a custom image and custom name. So when you have buy notifications or cross-chain notifications, it can show your image as opposed to just showing the default stuff. If you're a whale tier, this is my favorite feature I just added yesterday. If you're a whale tier or above, you can actually set a custom admin tag in our Telegram group. So the bot will assign you as an admin with the tag that you specify, as long as you're at a whale tier. So yeah, I'm looking to continue to improve the bot and improve, the benefits that we can offer, the usefulness, making it more useful to everybody, but especially making it more beneficial for the higher tiers. And I think we've laid out the tier system quite well. I'm going to show it off in a bit. But I think, it's very obtainable to get VIP tier. So I'm going to make the majority of benefits available at VIP. So anyone that tries can really achieve VIP. And then just some of like the really special stuff like stealth mode, where if you don't want any of your buys or any of your transactions showing up, you can enable stealth mode. Like that's going to be that's actually something that we already have. Didn't test it thoroughly yet, but for whale and above tier has access to that feature. But I'm going to demonstrate the bot later. So I should probably hold off on talking about it so much. For now. But yeah, let's get through a few more of these. And I've also got to be tracking which is the best question. I might just have to do that at the end. Where was I? Oh yeah, right there. Have you considered any development play to earn or PvP community games, especially with Telegram using GBlue tokens? I'm always down to build anything. I need a more specific idea, and then I'd say, hey, I love it, I'm going to build it, or I don't think it would work, but I'm open to anything that is going to be beneficial to the community. Got another comment here. Love seeing projects like Blue building. Seriously, instead of just hype, this is how strong ecosystems are formed. What makes Blue protocol especially suitable for Abstract's architecture? And are there features that wouldn't be possible in other chains? Great question. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But I guess just to give you a super quick answer for now, we had the best yield opportunity with Aborian on Abstract. And so that made Abstract an obvious choice for us for our bridge destination. So because that was like the first thing that drew us to Abstract, and then it's kind of like the Abstract community being as strong as they are, and some of the great people that I met that are part of the Abstract community, made me want to just continue building on Abstract. And I've built a ton on Abstract since GBlue first bridged over. So I'm going to be demonstrating all that pretty soon. I need a helper to keep track of all these comments and tell me which ones are the best. Aaron's built the DeFi monster. Yeah, we're not done yet. A lot more to come. What's next for GBlue after the O Vault and a boring integration? Are there plans for more cross-chain expansion or new features like auto compounding on other chains? I mean, there's always going to be more coming. Just in the last 2 weeks, we've built more than probably most teams have built in the last year. Not trying to throw any other teams under the bus, but we're building at a crazy fast pace. I mean, this TG bot was just released in the last couple of days, and it's already like insanely well featured. So we'll definitely keep building. 1% is a great adjustment to the rebase rate. Yep, I agree. Really appreciate the detailed answer. It's exciting to see how Abstract's architecture enables Blue to build features that go beyond what other chains can offer. This definitely shows strong product chain alignment. Agreed. Are there plans on using Blue Treasury on GBlue, and maybe we can have the DAO voting to decide on what we do? What do you mean use the Blue Treasury on GBlue? I'm not quite sure what you mean there. Like one thing that I did mention in previous AMAs is that like two of our most recent bonding markets, and sorry for guys that are new that aren't familiar with this, but we have bonds that you can purchase to get discounted Blue. So we currently have 2 markets running right now, ETH and USDC. I've used those to basically build up a large protocol position on Abstract, and I'll show that to you guys. That's actually the wallet I'm connected with right now. I'll show that to you guys, but that's what the recent inflows of the treasury from bonding has largely been used for. And it's been doing exceptional. I mean, anybody that's been participating in GBlue and Abstract's been doing really well. Thank you for the thoughtful and detailed explanation earlier. Really appreciate it. As Abstract continues to grow, how can the community best support Blue Protocol in a way that creates real value for the ecosystem? I mean, I think we've got a gold mine on our hands. I think that we have a super strong protocol. We have incredible yield, either like with straight LP staking or auto compounding vault that's accessible now on 6 chains. I'll talk about that later. But I think the best thing anybody can do is really just participate in the protocol, participate in the ecosystem, participate in our AMAs, give valuable feedback, always looking for feedback on ways that we can improve and make things better. And I guess most importantly, share the great opportunity with your friends, right? Spread the good word. What does being one of the first approved native streams on Abstract Portal mean for Blue's growth, and how will this help bridge more? Well, basically, I just got approved for streaming on Abstract, so this is our first stream on Abstract. That's all we really meant by that. I mean, I feel very appreciative that we're able to stream on Abstract. So thank you, Abstract team, for allowing me the opportunity. But that's really what we meant by that announcement. This is our first native stream on Abstract. I mean the treasury assets. Yeah, I'm still not following that question. So like, how would I? What do you mean by use the treasury assets on GBlue? Like it doesn't make sense to sell Blue at a discount to build the treasury to then just go buy back Blue or GBlue with treasury assets. If that was the case, we should have just never had bonds in the first place. Right? Like, for example, like I can use GBlue to incentivize bribes on our gauge, and that's like an excellent use of capital and excellent use of Blue tokens to, get us more votes, to get our, gauges paying higher. Doing straight buybacks is something that we could look at in the future potentially, but that's not really what you use treasury assets for to make them most effective, in my opinion. I'd rather keep building and give guys reasons to want to buy GBlue and Blue rather than, buybacks are not sustainable. Is GBlue already dropped in the incentives to get? Is GBlue already dropped in the incentives to get GBlue in more Abstract wallets? Not sure what you mean there. Can you clarify that question? Thank you for the insightful answer. It's encouraging to see how clearly the team is thinking about long-term alignment with Abstract and sustainable ecosystem growth. I mean, use the treasury assets like BNB ETH. Yeah, I think I've kind of already addressed that. It doesn't make sense to sell Blue at a discount to go use the assets received to go buy it on the open market. That kind of defeats the purpose. We use the treasury. I mean, the treasury for the most part has just been like building up, but With the recent expansion to Abstract, I've been building a big protocol-owned position on Abstract, which is doing incredibly well. The current plan is doing a lot better than if I just did a little bit of buybacks. So I'm going to stick with the current plan on that. All right, so we got through all the Abstract questions. Let me see what we got going on the mainstream. Loving that yield on Abstract. I think we all are. Oh, I already answered that. Greetings, Fiat Hater, longtime community member. Thanks for joining in. Help, Aaron. I'm getting too much APR. I know we all need help. Does VIP require blue dye? Yeah, blue hair dye will get you a few extra bonus points. It would be great to have someone from Aborian with you to break down everything one day. I mean, I'm very familiar with Aborian. I can break that down quite well myself. But yeah, I mean, if anybody from the Aborian team wants to pop on a stream with me, definitely be cool with that. All right, so we got all the questions and comments out of the way. Let's move forward with the stream. Just real quick, let's try to keep the comments on the Abstract streaming side. Let's try to keep them relevant and short and to the point. Don't just write a lot of questions because you're trying to win the prize. You're also just going to delay the stream a lot. Just try to keep it to actual relevant, important questions if you can. I mean, although I do love the interaction, so I'm not trying to discourage you from commenting, but some of these seem like they're just a little bit drawn out trying to win the prize. All right, so let's jump into what's happened recently. There's been a lot that's happened since I streamed last. I already covered the first one. Rebase rate is slowly adjusting down to 1% per day. If you guys ever want to see like exactly what it's at this moment, like one of the easy ways to do that is just to pop over here. So 100 staked blue in one day will be, it's basically 1.45% daily right now. This was like 1.71% about a week ago. So this is going to keep dropping until it's 100 G blue or 100 blue turns into exactly 101 blue. So that's when when this says 101.00, that's when the transition is going to be fully completed. So yeah, let's just go over some of the updates that have happened lately. So for all you guys on the Abstract portal, our G-Blue DApp is now listed here, and you can vote on it. And don't forget to give Aborian a heart while you're at it. But here we are. We're Blue Protocol. We've got 29 upvotes. So make sure that you head over to the Discover tab and give G-Blue an upvote there. Super happy that the Abstract team included G-Blue in the portal, and looking forward to doing some great things with Abstract. As well as we should also be in the trending tokens here somewhere. Right beside our friends, Penguin ABX. So you can see nice details on the token right within the portal. And of course, the other Abstract portal update is I can now stream here. So expect more streams from me in the future. What else do we got? AbScan listing. So we've got on AbScan, we're properly listed with G-Blue, as well as I just yesterday got our price showing. So now if you look at any transaction, just pick the random one, you're going to see there's values on the G-Blue amount. And it also even shows that this token is bridged via layer 0. That's pretty cool. That didn't show until yesterday. But yeah, now you can see it even has the accurate like on-chain market cap and the whole circulating supply market cap that's based on the total G-Blue that's in existence. So that all G-Blue comes from BNB Chain. So that's basically the BNB Chain supply multiplied by the price. So that's really good to see. We got full integration with AbScan. Another big one for you guys, CoinGecko listing. This we've had for a couple days now. Show this some love. I'll put the link for this in the chat for you guys. And yeah, I mean, our CoinGecko listing, they're properly using our API for circulating supply and total supply. That's awesome to see. And yeah, that's just going to raise a lot more awareness for us and get more eyes on the project. People are going to be able to track the price a lot easier. A lot of third-party services rely on CoinGecko for pricing, so overall, a very bullish development there. What else do we got? DeBank, we've got full DeBank support now. Let me zoom in a bit so you guys can see this better. So I'm going to talk a lot more about our cross-chain stuff in a bit, but what you see here, actually, that's a little better. What you see here these are vault tokens on other chains. I'm going to go into a lot of details about exactly what this is, but basically DeBank properly supports and shows values for all this stuff. So these are me actually holding GBlue ETH auto compounding vault positions on other chains. And again, I'm going to go into all the details about that later. I guess while I'm here real quick, this is the protocol wallet. So, we've built up a fairly sizable position. There's a little over 10 grand worth of GBlue ETH auto compounding positions on other chains. 35K farming on Aborian with, these ABX positions have all come from farming the LP, right? So we've built up, almost 10 grand worth of VE ABX, which of course we're always using to vote on the GBlue gauge. And yeah, we got 26K farming here. I just collected this recently. I'll show you. This is paying pretty crazy. And, this is something that you guys can all get involved in. 221 bucks of daily rewards. So not too shabby at all. It is a $25,000 position, but that's, almost 1% per day. So that's how we've managed to build up as much as we have in the Aborian protocol, and also due to a lot of Aborian bonuses. And I'll talk about that a bit later. And our vault is also showing, right? So we got, if you have the vault on Abstract, it'll show like this in DeBank. So the protocol's also got a 17K position in the GBlue ETH vault. So this is basically the exact same thing as what you see up here. It just shows a little bit differently. And I'll demo all this stuff in a little bit. What else do I got that just changed? Dune, we've got a couple Dune dashboards up. We've had a little bit of a price decline with ETH declining. But this is a really cool chart that basically the blue line is showing you the vault to LP ratio, meaning that like we launched this vault just about a week ago on December 30th, a little over a week ago. So when we first launched the vault, if you deposited one LP token, you got one vault share. So it was like a 1-to-1 ratio. Now, every single time that the vault compounds, your vault share becomes worth more and more LP tokens. So, and it's actually pretty cool. You can see when we switched from 6-hour compounds to 3-hour compounds, because this kind of staircase up is a bit wider here, and then it gets a lot more condensed here. So it's basically the same thing, just the compounds are happening a little bit more often now. But you can see that the LP to vault ratio is 1.056 now. So you would have gained 5.6% on your LP just being in the vault since we launched. So that's super bullish. And like you can kind of see that in the chart, because this ratio is basically showing you how different the value of the vault token is versus the actual LP. So they started off at the same value. And, you can see that the gap just keeps getting wider as those compounds happen, right? So ultimately the goal is that, we want to have the LP increase in value. And if you're in the vault, you're having your vault token worth more and more LP tokens as time passes. Again, I know we're on a small pullback right now, but actually the cool thing is that even with this pullback, the vault token is still more valuable than the LP was at its peak. That's pretty cool. So yeah, and let me put the link to this in the chat so you guys can check it out if you want. Come on, computer. Okay, I'll go back. No. So definitely check that out. And we're going to be on DeFi Llama soon. I've already submitted a pull request to get included on DeFi Llama. They had some questions that I just answered. So I think we're going to get past that very soon, probably the next day or two, and then we'll be fully listed on DeFi Llama, which will get even more eyes on the protocol. So really looking forward to that. So next I'm going to jump into what's new. So I'm going to be going over like the GBlue website and the O vaults. Let me just catch up on comments real quick first. So nothing in the main streams. Let's see on Abstract side what we got. Probably help if I clicked on streams there. All right. Can you share any hints on upcoming updates for the Blue ecosystem in 2026, especially around multi-chain features or partnerships? I mean, I've got so much to announce today about that. There's going to be more and more coming, but let me announce what we've already got before we start talking about what's coming next. Okay, understood. You mentioned you used it to create liquidity on Abstract. Thanks a lot. I thought you can add GBlue incentives that then will be spread to the liquidity providers each epoch. For example, that Pengu web providers will get some GBlue in their wallets with the goal that they will buy more when they see the constant green candles. No, that's not exactly how that works. I mean, I can show you real quick. So basically, how this works is basically our emissions are based on the amount of votes that we get on our gauge, right? So here we are. So I didn't put any bribes in yet. So because I haven't put any bribes in, the voting APR is low. So I'm going to get those bribes in real soon. But essentially, I or anybody can put bribes in, which makes it more and more lucrative for people to vote on our gauge. And the more votes that we get, the more emissions that we get the following epoch. So that's kind of how that works. I can maybe demo that in a bit. All right, then someone asked, are you talking about the O vault? Didn't talk about it yet, but I'm going to talk about it real soon. So I guess let's start with GBlue, the website. So GBlue, the website, and again, forgive the malicious warning that's there incorrectly, and that should be taken care of very soon. But the GBlue website was basically designed to be the abstract first simple site to just really understand what GBlue is about and to have an easy way to access all of the main features and benefits of being involved with GBlue. So as you can see, we got a lot of great stats at a glance, the GBlue price, the vault APY, and the gauge APR, along with, just some TVL numbers. And, mainly I wanted to just explain what GBlue is about in the simplest way that I could. So, why GBlue on Abstract, how GBlue works, a GBlue chart that doesn't look that great on the 15-minute, but looks a bit better on a longer time frame. And yeah, just, it's really just focused on simplicity, right? Like if you want to just earn in our regular staked LPs in a Borean, normally you'd have to, you'd have to swap half of your ETH for GBlue. You'd have to go add liquidity on the Aborian site. Then you'd have to stake that position in the gauge. We do that all in one transaction for you. So let's just go ahead and do one real quick here. So if I want to zap in from ETH, it's going to show me that I'm going to get an LP with approximately these contents, and then I can auto stake it in the gauge. Let's go ahead and do that. So that's done. Let's go take a look at that transaction. So, it's pretty straightforward. Just, basically took the ETH, it used half of it to buy GBlue, and it created the LP, and it staked it in the gauge for me. Pretty straightforward stuff. But I know for newer users, that can be super handy to, where was I? Oh, I'm on the right side already. Going crazy, boys. Yeah, so with this, you can just, basically you can enter super quick, very low barrier to entry there. And of course, we got swap options if you just want to swap ETH to GBlue or GBlue to ETH. And we got zap out options. So you can you can turn LP tokens in your wallet into GBlue or ETH, or you can, and it takes multiple transactions for regular wallets, but you can, for example, if I want to zap out 7 LP units, I can get 255 blue, or I can get 0.73 ETH. On AGW, this actually batches. So if you're using AGW and you have staked LPs, normally you would have to do multiple transactions to be able to zap out, but you actually can do that all batched together in one. So that's pretty cool. The earn page is just meant to be a really simple page, just to kind of break down your earnings. Shows you the APR that you're getting, the TVL stats, a little bit of info about votes and the next Aborian epoch. It shows you an estimate of what the next epoch's APR is going to be. This is usually not really worth looking at early in the epoch, because I didn't even put the bribes in yet. So like once we're in the last couple of days of the epoch, then the next epoch APR starts to really give a better indication of what the next epoch APR is likely to look like. And here, yeah, just gives you some useful stats, right? Like just about your staked position, how many LP units you have, the value, the breakdown of, what your LP looks like inside the LP in case like you were to withdraw it and remove liquidity. That's what you would get. Pending rewards and your estimated daily rewards. And you can claim your rewards right here too. So pretty much for guys that just want to be doing stuff within the GBlue ecosystem, pretty much trying to make it so that you don't have to leave the GBlue website. You can do everything right here. And of course you can deposit LP tokens and you can withdraw LP tokens right here as well. So the most recent thing that we added to this website specifically was the auto compounding vault. That's actually grown quite a bit since I first created the vault. I know the vault's only been around for a week, but it got a lot of new cool features shortly after it was released. But I guess let's first talk about what the vault does, then I can talk about some of the advanced features of the vault. And you can kind of see it right here. It's kind of giving away what I'm about to talk about, but let's ignore that for a second. So basically what the vault does is it simply just basically it participates in the Aborian LP gauge kind of on your behalf. Like, so it's the vault, when you deposit in the vault, you're providing your LP tokens or you're zapping in, and it's giving you a vault receipt token that is what you would use to redeem your position in the future. The technical side of that's not too important. I guess what's important about this is that it is a contract that auto compounds your position. So instead of you manually claiming out ABX as often as you want to claim it out, this is something where it manages your position for you. It was every 6 hours that we were compounding. Now it's compounding every 3 hours. So every 3 hours, it's taking all of the reward ABX, it's converting those into ETH and GBlue, and it's increasing the size of the LP. So your vault receipt tokens, your share tokens, that stays the same, but the amount of LP tokens that you get when you redeem those share tokens is always increasing every 3 hours. And again, you can reference the Dune dashboard to see that, the vault's gained, over 5% since its launch that we just recently had not too long ago. So that's been performing exceptionally well. And some improvements that I've made here is it will show you your positions on all the chains. It will show you the LP breakdown of your vault position, and that's your combined vault positions on all the chains, not just on Abstract. And it shows you a daily projected earnings and a monthly projected earnings based on the current APR, APY. As well as we got a bunch of different zap-in options here too. So you can zap in USDC, ETH, or GBlue. You can deposit LPs, you can withdraw LPs, or you can zap out to USDC, ETH, or GBlue. So that pretty much sums up what you can do on the GBlue site. Of course, we've got our usual docs that kind of goes through everything, tells you why you'd want to participate, tells you all about Aborian and the excellent integration and partnership and we have with them, collaboration, I guess I should say. Got some docs on the vault, some docs on bridging. So again, bridging is not available on this site. You have to go back to our Blue hub to bridge GBlue between BNB and Abstract. But now got something really special to show you guys, and I'll do a demo of it as well. Let me maybe just catch up on the comments real quick. Let's go whales. Let's go. Let's see what we got going on Abstract. Thanks for explaining bribes. Are you considering to add a zap so that you can add directly your earned ABX to your GBlue ETH vault? I mean, if you're looking to just compound your ABX into GBlue ETH, you should just enter the vault, right? Because if you're in the vault, you don't earn ABX. You get a bigger LP position over time. If you get ABX, that means you're not in the vault, right? So if your plan is to just sell ABX to make a bigger LP, you may as well just be in the vault because it's going to auto compound for you every 3 hours. You probably aren't awake 24 hours a day to do that. So it's just going to be better overall for you. So yeah, I think originally before I had the vault, I was going to maybe add an option to use ABX to zap in, but I think at this point, I'm not going to do that because I mean, for one, I think ABX is incredibly bullish. I think that you guys should probably be holding on to your ABX exposure through locking. But I mean, if you really don't want the ABX exposure, then I'd just suggest going into the vault. I got a question here. Is it better to be in the O vault or the other vaults for voting? All the vaults are equal. So I'm just about to talk about the O vaults right now, but essentially for voting is all based on your VE ABX that you vote on the gauge, right? That's where voting comes from. If you're in any of our vaults, you don't earn ABX, which doesn't help to increase your VE ABX position, right? So if you want to build a VE ABX position, which I think is a very smart thing to do, you'd want to be in our regular staked LP gauges, right? So like, for example, on the earn page, like you saw, I just claimed out like $170. I've already got like another $1 of rewards there since I claimed that. So if you want to build it, and I highly suggest you do this, build an ABX position, you should definitely just be in our regular vaults. And again, I'm not sure if I made this clear, but all the stuff that you see here, this is nothing special to Blue. This is just like another portal, I guess you could say, into the stuff on Aborian, right? So if I go to my dashboard here, you're going to see, if we just look at the stats here, I got 77 LPs worth 25.8K. So I got some voting rewards I didn't claim yet, but 25.8K, 91 LPs. Wait, is that what that said? $77. Oh, sorry. Not paying attention. That's my rewards. If I go to manage, we'll see the 90. Yeah, 77.09 LPs. All right. It's all adding up as long as I read the right numbers. So yeah, so again, so the stuff that we have here is, the vault is something that we deployed ourselves on top of the Aborian offering, but just the regular like gauge staking is all, even our zapping is not our own custom contracts. This is using the Aborian router. So this is all already deployed stuff. We're just kind of giving you guys an easy way to use some of the tools that Aborian's made available to everybody. It's like any project that has a gauge can do this. Even without a gauge, projects could implement a zap into their LP just the same way. I guess let me just catch up on the questions before I jump into the O vaults. I have Abstract GBlue in my wallet. To keep it, should I keep in the wallet or go into that GBlue vault to increase my GBlue? I mean, that's up to you what you want to do, right? Like, I mean, I think the LP is an incredible opportunity. The ideal thing to do there would be to get some Ethereum to pair with that GBlue, and that way you can, farm with a much larger amount without having to sell half of your GBlue at these prices. So I think that GBlue has crazy potential from here. So, I mean, it's if you don't add ETH to that, the only way to enter the LP would be to like zap in with GBlue, which is going to sell half of your GBlue. And again, if that's your only option, you can consider it, but I'd suggest trying to pair it up with fresh ETH if possible. Because I mean, one thing to consider, right? Like if GBlue is at $9 right now, if you zap in half of your GBlue into the LP, so just say you have, 100 GBlue, you zap into the LP. Now, right away, you got 50 GBlue. So you lost half of your exposure to GBlue. Now, if GBlue does a 5x to $50, your LP is going to be holding, I don't know, just really rough number, like, I don't know, 10 or 15 G blue. So like you went from having exposure to 100 G blue to having exposure to 15 G blue or 20 or whatever the number might be. I don't have the math in front of me, but so, I mean, so overall it's not a bad strategy, but you are going to lose a lot of exposure to the G blue upside if you zap all your G blue in. And we got another comment. G blue and VEABX are two separate things that can go perfectly hand in hand, parallel to each other. Both great positions to have in your portfolio, in my opinion. Yep, definitely. More VEABX gets you more voting power to vote on the G blue WEF pool. You got it, man. And that's how it works. All right, let's talk about OVALTs. Oh, we've already been going for over an hour. Let's keep her going. All right, so OVALTs are really cool. OVALTs. So basically, I guess just to start from the very basics. So we have the auto compounding vault on Abstract. That's, what you see here. 126K inside. Basically what it does is it holds LP positions and it compounds on a certain schedule. And every time it compounds, basically your LP grows in size, right? So that's basically what the auto compounding vault does. Now with layer 0 tech and specifically their OVALT tech, what I was able to do was what you can see on the OVALT site, which you can actually also get to. So again, keep in mind, all three of our sites work on Abstract. If you pick one of these other chains, you're going to go to the site specific for that chain because all of these chains only have one site that works with it. So for any of these chains here after BNB, these are all going to bring you to the OVALT site. So, and again, that malicious site warning is on this site. It's on all of our G blue sites right now. I'm working to get that resolved. So if you see that, don't worry about it. You can skip past it. I just turned off security alerts on my browser because it was driving me crazy, but I am working my best to get that resolved as soon as I can. But yeah, this site is basically specially geared towards the vault positions, right? It's deposit from any chain, earn yield on Abstract. It's not showing the G blue price. It's showing the price of the LP. Because again, it's really focused around the LP and the vault compounding. So the site is really here just to explain pretty much what the vault is all about and why you'd want to get into it. And, just talking about some of our partners that enabled this to all be possible. You can see that our TVL, if you look back on our G blue, let's go back to the G blue page site. You can see our total vault TVL is 126K. And you can see how that's broken up here. So just because of how this works, all of that TVL is actually on Abstract. The TVL that you see on other chains has been bridged from Abstract to other chains. So the vault is still holding that 100% of that position, but using secure layer 0 tech, the vault share tokens are being held in what's called like an OFT adapter. So pretty much like for every one vault share token that's on another network, there is exactly one vault share token securely being held in the layer 0 powered OFT adapter. Basically, it's like a bridging contract. It works similar to a lot of other bridges, right? So like basically all the TVL that you see on other chains is backed 100% on Abstract, and you can at any time bridge. So if I have a position on Polygon, I can bridge that. Well, actually, let me rewind a little bit. So the advantage of the whole OVALT setup is that we can have very simple onboarding from any chain into our OVALTs, and I'm going to demo that. Let me actually I'm not sure if I have any USDC on base. Let me just throw some over there. Actually, I think I got some on. Let's go from destination. Yeah, let's ship this all over there. While we're waiting for that, I'll answer a quick question here. Are there any security concerns linking your wallet to Telegram, and how to address those concerns, if any? No, I mean, if you went through the process, you'll see there's no transactions. Like I'll demonstrate this in a second, but all you're doing is you're connecting your wallet to either our mini app or the desk or like the regular website, and that's securely connected through your Telegram, so that we know for a fact that that's your Telegram user. And all you're doing is you're connecting your wallet to that site or to the mini app, and you're signing a message, which basically just our back end service can basically look at and say, hey, 100%, this is the holder of that wallet, right? It's like, it just so that you can't like say that you're some other wallet if you don't actually have like, signing privileges on that wallet. So yeah, it's just a simple message that you sign. A lot of different sites use that exact same tech to basically guarantee that you're the signer of that wallet without doing any transactions. So I can say with 100% confidence that that's fully safe to do. Let me grab this question on Abstract. More VE ABX gets you more voting power. Yeah, GBlue and ABX are hot. They will drop a lot of jaws in 2026. I agree. Couldn't agree more with that one. Great stream. Just bought into GBlue and will zap some more into the vault. Awesome, man. Great stuff. So where was I? Okay, so the O vaults. So basically there's a lot to explain, but let's start with the basics. So somebody on base chain that sees this and says, hey, GBlue's awesome. I want to start earning 2,300% APY. Well, maybe they aren't familiar with Abstract, or maybe they're a newer user and they just use base chain and they don't ever want to leave base chain. Now keep in mind, I am using a wallet that already has a position, so it might have been a little bit better to show it from a different wallet, but right now I've got a 27.63 LP position worth 9.2K. So you can see here, I'm going to go deposit 116 USDC. That's going to get me 0.31 shares, which is more than that in LP units. But essentially for $116, I'm going to get $111 worth of LP. And that price impact seemed a little bit high. I'm guessing that's because one of our price feeds is a little out of date. That should probably be no more than about 1%. Oh, there we go. So let's go ahead and deposit that. And something that I've added recently is this integration with their API, the Layer 0 API. So you'll see right now, actually, I guess I'll also open up the GBlue. So it's confirming. So what we should expect to see is we're going to see like $58 or so. Is that right? Yeah. $58 of a buy on GBlue, and then it's going to make an LP position. It's going to deposit that LP position in the vault, and it's going to bridge that vault position back to my wallet on base chain. So basically, I submitted a single transaction with some USDC. It's shipping the USDC to Abstract. It's getting into the GBlue ETH LP, getting into the vault, and shipping that vault position back to me. So any moment now, we're going to see this come up. Base is pretty quick. It usually takes like less than 2 minutes for the whole process to go through. Sometimes it's a little bit slower, but if you ever want more details, you can hit track here, and that's going to bring you to Layer 0 scan with the transaction pulled up. So we're just waiting for a few more things to confirm, and then it'll be done. There's my buy, $58, like I said, added to the LP. Let's look at that transaction. Bunch of stuff going on, but basically it's making the vault position, which was 0.312 shares, and the number of LPs was 0.332 LPs, which again was worth 0.31 vault shares. And this is the bridge contract. So this is getting bridged back to me. So if we actually go look at my wallet on base, which actually I can't pull up from there. Let me copy this and head over to base scan. Oops. Sorry, 1 second. I just spilled my drink. Red Bull on the phone can't be too bad, right? All right, good enough for now. Okay, so you can see the layer 0 stuff completed. So if we go over to base scan, not sure what we're looking at there, but if we look at ERC20 transfers, you can see that 2 minutes ago, I sent that 116 USDC. And 1 minute ago, I received my GBlue ETH Vault shares. And if we go back over to base, you can see I now have, so the price of the LP went up. I didn't, because I think this went up by like $400. I only added $116 to my LP. But I think the vault, the price of the share token and the LP token went up in that same time. So yeah, so now I have all those that extra position. It's all completed. So yeah, so again, to recap, I just created a single transaction on base. I deposited some USDC. Everything else was handled automatically, which was bridging that to Abstract, putting those funds to work on Abstract, which benefits everybody in the community, right? Because we're all part of that LP, and that's, it's adding more liquidity. It's making our, trades have less price impact. It's, pumping up the price of GBlue. It's, beneficial all around. And then that vault position gets bridged right back on base or on any of these chains. And again, so for a user that's just comfortable on base, for example, they can pop over to the base page and they can redeem, right? So just say I wanted to redeem 1 share. I'm going to get 365 USDC with a 0.6% price impact. And that should be a quite accurate estimate. And I could submit this, but I'm not going to exit the position. I'm far too bullish to do that. So, but that works flawlessly. So you can redeem to right to USDC. So again, somebody can do all of this without ever leaving their native chain. But what's really cool about this is, let me show you on Abstract. Oh, also, I guess as a side note, Abstract has a bunch of other options for depositing and redeeming. But let's just say a smart whale wants to, put in, I don't know, 8,000 USDC. So the output that they're going to get is 21.65 shares. Remember that, 21.65 shares. If you go on base with 8,000, wait, I got to refresh that. It's a price out of line somewhere. 21.67. That doesn't make sense. There must be a lagging price somewhere. The outputs of those two should, every time I've ever checked it, they're identical. Because I mean, basically what's happening when you zap in with USDC on Abstract, you're just directly hitting like that zap function on our zap contract to enter the vault. When you do it from base or any other chain, it's basically doing the exact same thing. It's just doing a couple extra steps of bridging the USDC from base over to Abstract, and then bridging that vault transaction or the vault token back to your native chain. So the only difference should be a couple dollars of bridging fees, but the actual position shouldn't be any different. And I actually have no idea why that, again, it must be a lagging price somewhere. Let's try again. 21.71. Yeah, I've something, there's a lagging price somewhere that's causing that to not be the same, but that should always be the same. And I'd bet you that if I did those two transactions, well, it wouldn't be the same because one of them would change the price, but yeah, they're basically, you get the exact same. This really screwed up my demo, but you would get the exact same output no matter what chain you enter from. Just, yeah, a lagging price somewhere is causing that to not show quite properly. But, and again, this works the exact same from any chain, right? So you can jump in from any of these chains, whatever chain you're comfortable on, can definitely jump in. So another way that you can interact with this is on the transact page. you can basically just pick if you want to deposit or redeem, and then you pick your chain. Basically the same stuff that you have available on all the dedicated pages. These are just more so like dedicated landing pages, so that like if you got a buddy on Polygon, you can just send them the direct link there. Or someone that just always interacts on Polygon, they might just want to use this page specifically. They don't care about the other chains. And it's a great like landing page and good like page for SEO, for, you know, driving traffic to the site, and just like a great direct link to give somebody for chain specific info. But then you can also bridge your shares around, right? So for example, just say I did just enter on Base with, you know, I got 26.3 shares there. From Base, I can either redeem for USDC, which I can do on this page here. I can go Base, redeem for USDC, or I can go to the Base page and I can redeem for USDC here, right? So 6 shares is going to get me 2K. But maybe I want to actually get my G Blue and my ETH. I don't want to get USDC. Well, you can do that too. For that, you got to use the bridge. So you can bridge from any of the spoke chains to the hub chain. So if I want to bridge from Ethereum to Abstract, I can do that. From Base to Abstract, I can do that. I cannot bridge from Base to another spoke chain. You do always have to go through Abstract. So if I wanted to go from Base to like Avalanche, I'd have to go Base to Abstract, then to Avalanche. And when you pick Avalanche as the source, then you can pick any of the spoke chains as the destination. And there's like a really cheap bridge. Like, I'm not going to submit this, but just to see the cost of it, 14 cents worth of ETH to bridge that. So, but yeah, I think there's still some optimizations we can do here. I mean, there's some very minor optimizations I can do for gas. But I think just in terms of like marketing and like how the site displays the information, and like really getting across those key points about, you know, why you would want exposure to the G Blue token, and why you know, this is, I know it's a high APR, but why it's sustainable. You know, I think just when we have the right combination of information in the right, easy to digest format, and we get some traffic to the site, I think this is really going to be able to take us next level. And, you know, the beautiful thing about this is that everybody benefits, right? Our community benefits, Abstract benefits. They get a bunch of inflows from all kinds of different chains, but it all gets put to work on Abstract. Aborian benefits. They get a bunch of TVL. They get a bunch of trading activity. You know, everybody wins. Everybody wins in this. You know, this is not a Ponzi. This is, you know, yield farming, where, you know, it's the Aborian flywheel. I've talked about it a lot in the past. It's an incredible system. But yeah, it's, I got tons of amazing things to say about this. I mean, I hope you guys are as impressed about this as I am. You know, in under 2 minutes, we used USDC on Base to get a position on Base. Let me catch up with some questions here. Why does APY percentage fluctuate constantly? Price, volume, both, or something else? Great question. So to answer that question properly, the first thing we have to look at is the actual yield of the gauge, right? So APY is going to be purely based on what the gauge APR is. The gauge APR is based on a lot of different things. It's based on, for one, how many emissions we're getting from Aborian, which is based on how many votes we got the last epoch. So that's already set in stone for this epoch. We're getting 2.47 ABX a second. So that part's not going to change for this epoch. So the factors that are going to impact the APR is the cost or the price of a unit of G Blue ETH LP. So as the LP gets more expensive, there's more TVL or more dollar value that's sharing those rewards. But basically, whenever the gauge TVL increases for whatever reason, it brings the APR down, right? So whether that's from new inflows coming in, there's more money sharing that same amount of rewards. Or if the price of ETH and G Blue go up, then there's more money sharing the rewards. But at the same time, if the ABX, so the ABX token price plays a big part of this too, right? Because that's what's powering our APR. So when the ABX token does well, our APR goes up. And now to answer your question, because I kind of had to get all that out of the way first, the Vault APY is strictly based on the APR, but it just factors in, you know, when you compound. So actually all of our math is based on four compounds a day. So basically that's all that this number is. It's basically just taking the base APR saying, well, if we're making 309% a year, but every 6 hours we're collecting and compounding, then after a year, that would actually be 2,100%. So, and because it's like I guess it's because it's a larger number than the APR. Like when the APR adjusts, it makes a bigger difference on the APY. So like, I mean, you could plug it into ChatGPT or like Claude or something and just say like, at a 300% APR, what's the APY in a year with 4 times daily compounds or something like that, right? And you can plug in different numbers there to see like how big of an impact that makes. Like I think when our estimated APR was showing 364%, I think our APY was going to be close to 4,000, right? So as the APR goes up, the APY really skyrockets. So hope that answered your question. Will the vaults show in Rabby too? The vaults are already showing in Rabby. So the vault on sorry if it's too zoomed in. I think it's hard to see if I don't zoom in, but the vault on Abstract is already showing under the GBlue protocol. So GBlue ETH vault. You can see that right here. If you hold the vault on other chains, it just shows as a GBlue O vault, I believe, or OG Blue. So OG Blue, this is basically the price of a share token. This is how many share tokens you have. So this is perfectly tracking. They even got our logo and everything. So yeah, to answer your question, it's all 100% integrated into Bank and Rabby. All right, let's catch up on the questions on the Abstract side of things. Can we get dark mode for the vault site? Yeah, I'm sure we can do that. Not a top priority, but yeah, I like dark mode too. Can you redeem to any of the chain if you start on base and then redeem to BNB? Thanks. Use the bridge to spoke bridge. Got it. Thanks. I mean, you could, there's a couple different ways you can do that actually. It's pretty flexible. So if you're on this page, just say I have a base position. I can change where I receive my USDC, right? So I can say I want to receive my ETH on Ethereum. I could do that. Or you could also bridge your base shares to Abstract and then do whatever you want with them. So a lot of different options there. Thanks for the explanation. It clearly addresses my earlier question. Much appreciated. You bet. A lot of you guys on Abstract don't have names, so it's going to be difficult to connect who is asking which questions because it's looking at a bunch of wallet addresses. It's going to be tough picking a best question or comment at the end of the stream, but I'm going to try my best. Maybe if someone on my team could point out a couple that were particularly noteworthy and send them to me on Telegram, that might be a little bit of a help. Let's see, what else do I got to show you guys? We already demoed the O vault. Okay, let's show you guys the GBlue TG bot. Just going to stop this for a second. Oops. All right, so this is the bot. This is like a direct DM with the bot, just because this is probably the easiest way for me to show this to you guys. So unless you're VIP, you actually can't DM the bot. You have to, actually, can I zoom in? How to zoom on Telegram. That works kind of. So where do I start? So basically, there's a bunch of cool stuff you can do with the bot. Firstly, I guess before I get into it, we're running a competition right now, a buy competition for GBlue and also a cross-chain deposit competition for GBlue. I'm going to forward a couple messages into this just so you guys can see it. So Zappins. So you guys could actually see I set a special picture for myself. One sec. Where is that bot? There it is. So for example, like that's the notification that came through for my cross-chain deposit. You guys see that? Yeah. So I got a special picture set up on mine. I got, thought I had a special name. Maybe I still have to fix that. But yeah, so you can, anybody that's like VIP plus, you can set a special image on your transactions, but like this also, like it tracks a lot of stuff. Like we didn't have a buy bot for GBlue before. So I wanted to set up a bot for it to have a buy bot for GBlue. It also tracks votes. So whenever somebody votes on the GBlue gauge, we see a notification about that. Zap-ins, cross-chain deposits, basically like anything of interest that we'd want to see about what's going on with GBlue, the bot has it all. Actually, I guess I can show you. It's an admin command, but you can see, we can show cross-chain deposits, GBlue buys, vault compounds, vault deposits, votes, zap-ins, and a bunch of stuff. I can configure like the minimum amounts that we show. Pretty flexible bot. And this bot's just been built in the last couple of days. There's a lot more coming to it, but it already does some pretty cool stuff. Just to show you guys a couple examples. If you ever want to see if there's an arbitrage opportunity, this will show you the price on both chains. If you ever want to see, the price of bonds, you can see the price of bonds and the discount. So we got an 11% discount on the USDC bond, got a 7% discount on the ETH bond. What are some other good ones? Actually, first, I guess I'll show you guys the tiers. So this is like a really cool system that I built in for basically rewarding our loyal community members and the ones that are willing to, get as involved as possible in the protocol. So you can see that we just launched this feature just in the last couple of days. We've already got 29 users who have linked up their wallets. This is not going to show there. That's fine. So basically you can build up your tier based on your position and a bunch of other things, and you get extra benefits. So one of the benefits is if I pull up the leaderboard for our current competition, you'll see a bunch of guys are getting like ticket multipliers. So it's a raffle competition, right? So the more GBlue you buy, the more cross-chain deposits you do, the more tickets you get. If it hasn't been running a while, the leaderboard has to do a couple calculations, so it's taking its time. But you can see like our leader right now has 190 tickets, but he's got a 3x multiplier. That's because he has, I believe, whale tier, which is our second highest tier. Then we've got 100 tickets with a 4x multiplier. That's from a god tier user, a true whale. But that's just one advantage of tiering up within the bot, is you can get extra tickets for competitions. But if we go to tier help, this should show us, this is how you can earn points, right? The first step is you got to link your wallet, and that's how it's going to know about all your positions and when you vote and all that stuff. So just linking a wallet's good for 100 points. If you link an AGW wallet, that's good for another 100 points. You can link as many wallets as you want. If you have an Abstract portal tier, you can get extra points. And then, actually, I've got to update this. Vault balance. Vault balance is your balance in the vault on any chain, but it's also your balance of staked LPs. They both count exactly the same. So I probably should update the wording of that. GBlue balance on BNB or Abstract, holding GBlue will get you points here. This is actually votes for the GBlue gauge, right? So it says here VEABX power. That's what it was originally, but I changed it so it actually only counts when you vote on GBlue. So if you have a bunch of VEABX, you don't get tiered up unless you actually use it to vote on GBlue, which I think makes more sense. And you get a 50-point bonus per chain. So every chain where you have at least $100 balance, you get plus 50. So basically, it's not too difficult to get to like VIP, which is 500 points. You can do get all the bonuses that you can for free. Do a little bit of multi-chain stuff, have a bit of a vault position or LP position, and you should be able to get to VIP fairly easily. A lot of the perks start at VIP, so you can't do too much with verified and member. Like, so for example, you can DM the bot with VIP. You can set up custom images, a bunch of custom stuff. And of course, you get a bigger multiplier on competitions. And we're always going to be thinking of new ways to benefit higher tiered users. Something else to keep in mind, though, is that we calculate everything on the fly. So you don't have to have a high tier when you buy your position, right? So if you're going to do a G Blue buy now and you didn't connect your wallet yet, it's not too late. As long as you connect your wallet before the competition's over and run like the my tier command or the me command, that's going to force it to refresh your position. And so if you went from, say, verified with 1.5x on the tickets, if you're VIP now, that 2.5x is going to apply to all the tickets that you've earned since the competition started, right? And actually, this actually has two helpful commands. Like, so link is, you use this to link your wallet. It opens the mini app. If you can't connect your wallet in the mini app, there is a button to open in external browser. And again, because that's part of the G Blue site, you might see that malicious site warning that we're working on getting removed. So just disregard that warning for now. I'm sure it'll be corrected soon. But that's how you link your wallet. I'll show you guys my tier. So this is one of the two commands you can do to make it refresh all your balances. So if you do anything that's going to increase your tier, like start bridging some tokens around to other chains or anything like that, then you'd want to do my tier to refresh it. So you can see I'm God tier. I get a 4x ticket multiplier. I got an AGW connected. I've got a pretty big vault balance. I'm on all the chains. I've voted a decent amount on G Blue. And I've got 2 wallets connected. One of them is AGW. And you can see that took a while to come up because it's actually refreshing all of my stuff in real time. How can you get an already made LP in the vault? Good question. There's a couple ways you can do that. So just recently, I added that ability to the OVault site. So if you just go to Abstract in the OVault site, oh, I'm sharing the wrong thing. Hold on. Glad I realized that pretty quick, or else I'd be talking about this for 10 minutes and realize it was still showing the bot. All right. So you head over. There's a couple ways you can do it, but you can do it like right on the Abstract page of the OVault site. In the deposit options, again, this only applies to Abstract chain, but you can deposit LP units. You can also do it on the Transact page, deposit. I know it says USDC there, but if you're using Abstract, it gives you a bunch of extra options. LP is an option there. If you just prefer to use the G Blue site on the Vault page, we have a deposit LP option here. So a lot of different ways to get that done. Let's catch up on some Abstract questions and comments real quick. It just doesn't link to my wallet. ReTG bot, can you link more than one wallet? Yeah, I mean, any wallet that you have signing access to, you can link. Actually, now that I'm showing this, what I can show you is the linking process. So when I open the bot, so if I'm on my mobile phone, it actually works perfectly fine in the mobile app, like in the mini app that opens up in Telegram. But on desktop, I can't like connect Abstract or any of my like regular wallets in the mini app. So there's a big button there, open in external browser. So, well, that's actually my other Telegram account. Let me just close that and click that one more time. So I've already got this wallet connected. I've got an AGW connected, the one I'm streaming on right now. But I mean, just to show you guys how easy the process is, there, unlinked, link. I sign a message that just says link wallet to G Blue bot, blah, blah, blah. Sign, free transaction, linked, done. And if I want to link another wallet, I can disconnect, connect any other kind of wallet I want, and then I can link that as well. But again, this is part of our G Blue domain. So for the very short term, we have that weird malicious site warning on there if you use Google Chrome or Brave. So that will be rectified very soon. It's really bad timing that my first stream in 3 weeks, we got that surprise malicious site flag right before the stream. But I'm on top of it. Well, let's see if, while we're here, let's see if there's any quick updates on our, no update on the DeFi Llama up listing. Let's go back to the bot. I think there's still a few more things to show you guys there. So just take a look at some of the commands. So if you guys do help, you're not going to see any of this stuff. You'll just see the top side. Yeah, I mean, I think I've already showed you guys tiers. You can get just random stats on blue, G blue, a bunch of stuff. Leaderboard, I've already showed you guys. My rank will show you your position in the leaderboard if there's a competition running. Bridge just gives you a link to the bridges. I guess my rank might take some time to calculate. So yeah, so this just shows you how you can use the bridge. This shows you I'm ranked 3 out of 56. I've got 7.3% of the total pool of tickets. So this is something cool for VIP users and above. So if you do start, you can actually do this in the main Telegram group, or you can do it in DM. If you do it in the main Telegram group, the bot actually deletes your message that says start, so nobody even sees it, and it'll send you a DM with this. So I'm going to keep building out all the options that you have here. Like, so, for example, stealth mode, hide purchases. So I'm going to give you guys like cool abilities to like hide your stuff from showing up in the chat. But for right now, you can set a display name. So when you do buys, it's going to show your display name as opposed to showing your wallet address. And you can preview my profile. I just threw in the blue whale sipping on some wine. And probably the coolest thing though, and again, this is just for whale status and above, so 1,000 points and above, you can set an admin tag. So you can call yourself, whatever you want to call yourself, and you're going to show up in the blue chat as an admin with that custom admin tag, and you can update that anytime you want. But the bot does check on a schedule for if anybody drops out of the whale status, it will be removing your tag. So keep that in mind. But yeah, this is one area where I can keep building in new features, new abilities. I'm going to keep thinking of ways to benefit the guys that are in the higher tiers. Or, I mean, really a lot of the benefits are going to come to just VIP and above. Because again, I think VIP is quite obtainable for most. Any questions about the bot or what we can do with the bot or suggestions for the bot? We got a question on Abstract. What is the benefit of sending a DM to the bot once VIP status? I mean, some people might want to, like, for example, like if I go like my stats, I don't know if I showed you guys that. That's going to show like the details about my position. You might not want everybody to see that, right? So, I mean, and this is pretty cool too, right? It's showing like my BNB chain stuff. I got blue and G blue over on BNB chain. I got, 20 G blue on Abstract. I've got a bunch of G blue ETH LP staked. It shows me how much is claimable ABX I have. It shows me how much I have in the vault on Abstract. And then it shows me all my vault positions on every other chain. And it shows all my VE ABX positions. So again, this is more info than you might want to show everybody in the general chat. And yeah. So I mean that's one reason you might want to DM the bot. I don't know. A lot of guys like to just do things privately too. So figured that was one cool way we could benefit VIP users. We got a question on the Abstract side. I've linked my 2 wallets to the bot. It seems the vault and G blue LP are not counted yet. Yeah, so you've got to run either the /me or the /my stat. Is it my stats? My tier. My tier will do it too. Either one of those will force refresh your status. I mean, it does refresh in the background, but like it's very rarely. It's like once a week, I think. All right, let's see what else I got to go over. And soon I got to start picking a winner for the best question or comment. The forced refresh did not change the stats. I double checked that your wallets are connected properly. And I mean, we've got like 30 users and nobody's reported any issues. So it should work fine. If you've connected wallets that are holding the positions, it should definitely work. I'm happy to take a look at it after I'm done the stream, though, if you're sure it's not updating properly. I mean, I don't see anyone in the general chat that's requested an update lately. So again, the force refresh is doing like a / my tier or / me within the actual blue Telegram. All right, sorry, just catching up on a couple things. Let's see, what else do I have? I think that's pretty much most of what I had to go over. Actually, we could talk about Aborian a little bit. Let's close that. So yeah, I mean, Aborian's been doing great. They've had a strong bounce in price. Let's make sure. Yeah, so we've had a strong bounce off that low we had recently, and I think things are looking great for Aborian. They got a lot of stuff coming up, a lot going on. So, and again, the better Aborian does, the better for us as well. And I think that it's a great collaboration and partnership that we have with them. They've been very generous with us in terms of getting our gauge going very quickly, and we're bringing a lot of inflows and a lot of TVL and a lot of activity. I know a lot of the guys that have been in my community for a long time. They've all been getting involved on Abstract and building these VE ABX positions, and maybe participating in other stuff on Aborian. But Aborian is it's an incredible protocol, and I only have the most positive things to say about it. But again, yeah, for anybody that wants to benefit themselves and create like a forever recurring income stream, like building up a VE ABX position is something I highly recommend. And there's never been an easier time to do it, because we have the G Blue ETH LPs that you can stake. And again, you can do all this through the G Blue site, or you can do it right on the Aborian site. It's going to show up both places. So this is the position I keep showing you guys on the G Blue site, but it also shows up here. And yeah, like I think, taking that ABX and locking it up, there's currently you get a 49% bonus. So if you lock 100,000 ABX into VE ABX at the end of the epoch, within a day or two, you're going to get a 49% rebate. So you're going to get, like in that example, if you do 100,000 ABX locked, you're going to get a 49,000 ABX VE ABX position delivered to you after the epoch flip. So like what's crazy about that is like we already have a 310% APR. And you can then take that and get a 50% bonus on it on VE ABX. And keep in mind, ABX is, near launch, it was over 20 cents. I think maybe even hit 30 cents, right? I think, something around 5, 10, 15 cents is definitely not out of the question in the not too distant future, right? So to be able to get ABX at around 1 cent, get a 50% bonus on it, that already puts you up to like a 450% APR. And then tack on a 10x on top of that if ABX price can do what I expect it to be able to do in the short to medium term. That's like, basic a 5,000% APR if you look at it that way. Like not APY, not factoring compounds or anything. That's just like straight earnings, which is absolutely wild. I got a comment on the Abstract side. The Aborian latest BTC announcement, could you explain its benefits, or if it's a direct competitor to G Blue and Aborian? Yeah, I mean, so basically Aborian is integrated gate exchange. So there's bridges that have been put in place, and yeah, I mean, Abstract didn't really have a proper wrap BTC prior. So now we have gate BTC on Abstract. So and they're doing that entire launch through Aborian. So I'd say that's just, I wouldn't call it a competitor to G Blue. I'd say more it's just a very bullish thing for the Borean protocol and the whole Abstract chain and everybody on Abstract. Hope that answers your question. If you want any more details about that, let me know. But yeah, I don't think that would be a competitor. I mean, we're all in this to win together, right? Like we're not really competing against anybody. There's a lot of different opportunities, and you know, we want to share our favorite opportunities with others, and we listen to others about the opportunities that they think are worth partaking in. And you know, we all do our own research. You know, and again, I probably should have said this at the beginning, but nothing that I said today is financial advice. Having said that, I'm extremely confident in what we got here with GBlue. We've got a lot more coming up in terms of things that are going to really get a lot more eyes on the project. And I think that a lot of our offerings are in a really good state. There's still a little bit more polish that needs to be done on them. But I think once we do get that extra polish, we can really open the floodgates to just getting tons of traffic to the sites. And I can start doing AMAs a lot more often and doing AMAs on other channels and streaming on Abstract regularly and, you know, doing all kinds of different things. Because I think I think what we've built is pretty great. And as much as I am going to keep building, I love building. That's what I love doing the most. I understand that at a certain point, I'm going to be able to deliver more value to the community by just getting myself out there. So for example, I'm 99% sure I'm going to ETH Denver. So that's going to be like my first major crypto event in a couple of years. So I'm really excited about that. Going to meet a bunch of great guys over there. And I'll have to get some GBlue merch made up so I can be rocking that while I'm over there, and really looking forward to that. I'm sure that'll get a ton of extra eyes on everything that we're doing as well. Now the tough part. I've got to pick a best question or comment. Okay, let me just go through these quick and I'll pick one. I'm going to need a wallet address once I pick one, but hopefully whoever has the winning question is still around. So how can I make this only show the chat? Is that possible? No. All right, let's see what was the best question. Let me answer another question while I'm figuring that out. I have an LP, but when I go to transact, I do not see it to put in the vaults. So if you're just doing vault stuff, you might just want to stick on the GBlue site. It might be a little bit easier. There's a couple less options here. So like for one, like make sure that you've withdrawn your LP from staking if that's where it's currently at. So like you should see like on the earn page, you should see like unstaked. You should see a balance there if you have LPs in your wallet. And then on the vault page, you can just go deposit LP. But again, you can do the exact same thing here. If you just go to deposit and you flip the input over to LP. I mean, I'll demonstrate this for you real quick. I'll withdraw 1 unit of LP from here. And now I have 1 unit to deposit here. So, but just to show you, I'll put half a unit in here. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm going to put this in the vault instead. Deposit LP. I got 1 LP. I'll put half an LP in here. And then I'll go over to this page and you can see I have half an LP unit here, which I can deposit. Why is it showing a price impact? Okay, I've got to fix that. There's definitely no price impact to deposit an LP, so just disregard that. But yeah, so I can just deposit that here, and now it's done. So that hopefully should have showed you how you can do it. All right, my amazing colleague here has found 2 great questions that can qualify for the best question. Thanks, Nick, for looking those up. So the 2 that I'm looking at are, one question was, let's go to a different page here for a sec. One question was, GBlue and VABX are 2 separate things that can go perfectly hand in hand, parallel to each other, both great positions to have in your portfolio, in my opinion. That was a really great comment. And another one is, what will benefit GBlue more, putting your earned ABX in GBlue ETH or making your vote for GBlue bigger? So really great questions, both of them. I'm bad at picking winners. I'm gonna let Nick decide. All right, whichever one he picks, I'm gonna be sending 20 GBlue before I close out the stream, and these both have their wallet right here, so I should be able to easily send some GBlue. Okay, so he picked the one, what will benefit GBlue more? He says because that's the, yeah, actually I like the logic on it. He said it's the team question, right? We're all working on a team. We're all trying to get to the same achievement, the same goals. We all want to build this up as big as we possibly can, and do that responsibly. And that last question, what will benefit GBlue more, putting your earned ABX in GBlue ETH or making your vote for GBlue bigger? That really sums up being a team player. So I like that one. Let me find that here. Where is the question? Oh, I see the wallet. Oh, here it is. The mouse is like right on it. Oh, I can promote guys. Cool. Okay, I'll take that off the screen because maybe you don't want to share your wallet with everybody. And let's send some GBlue over. Do I have 20 GBlue in my wallet? I do. ND6A. Cool. Congratulations. And I'll post that transaction here for you guys to see. Yeah, it was a really close one. We had a lot of great questions and comments. Thanks everyone for joining in. This is a really fun and really lengthy AMA. I think this might be the longest one I've ever done. We're coming up just a couple minutes short of 2 hours here. So definitely congrats. And I guess, does anybody have any closing questions or comments before I shut her down? And thanks again for Abstract team enabling my streaming abilities today. Looking forward to doing a lot more streaming on Abstract and getting more involved with the Abstract community. This was really great, Chef. Thanks, Aaron. It's a great AMA. Awesome, guys. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Well, I got lots more coming for you guys. We're going to keep building. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep doing everything we got to do to take G Blue to the next level. And, you know, hopefully we can all make some generational wealth off this. And I really think it's possible. So that's all. So I'll work as a team and spread the word and definitely share the AMA. It's recorded on YouTube, which I think it's probably recorded on Abstract as well. And it'll be available on X. So yeah, thanks again, everyone, for joining. And I'll see you guys next Thursday for another AMA, or possibly we'll have one earlier than that, depending on what kind of interesting stuff comes up in the meantime. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you guys around the community.